Hey, how are we doing, boys and girls? Welcome to the video. So today on DMZ, we're going to be going over my updated controller settings. And we're also going to be going over how to control recoil. I thought this is something I could add extra this time around on top of the controller settings. I'm going to include my previous video, which you can ignore the settings for, but still use the end part of that video to kind of still go over some kind of aim training and scenarios where you can kind of practice your aim and improve. And then this video can basically just add on top of what we're talking about along with the updated controller settings. But for now, I'm just going to leave you with one of the games I was playing with the members. It's not a full game. It's just going to be a clip against a cheeky 6-man team. We had a nice little fight up in the bunker. I thought I'd just leave this at the start for you before we get into the settings. Anyway, boys and girls, enjoy.
Platoon of operators is in your area. Stay frosty.
Platoon? Oh, here we go.
Great.
Lovely old job. Right, we'll head in there then. Might as well.
Alright, well, I'll follow you guys.
Yeah, no problems, dude.
I always forget how it goes.
They're on comms already too. Right, before we open that up.
Needs ammo. That's great. The fuck?
Ultra One, there's a platoon of operators in your vicinity. Stay alert.
They got night vision too. Okay, right. If we chill over here a bit more, boys. I'm gonna open this up because they may be waiting for us. Right, I'm backing up.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody wars.
Probably gonna wait for us too.
Hold on 1 second.
Ultra One, be advised. Hostile active. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Oh, this is gonna be a shit show. This is gonna be funny.
We're seeing a platoon of operators near your location.
Is it? I think there's 4 of them. I'm guessing it's 4 of them.
I have
Right.
tear gas grenades, so grab them just in case.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
I can't see shit, so
Oh, you haven't got night vision, have you? Shite.
no.
Okay. Well, keep behind me. Let me just bring up the old, and then I can just quickly go straight to the area. Bear with. I can hear them if they come to us. Sweet, that's what I wanted. So we're on Tower Bridge. We need to go. Yeah, we need to go this way. Follow me.
Ultra One, be advised. A platoon of operators.
I can't see anything. It's awful.
Yeah, keep me, keep
Pitch
me.
black.
I'm flanking.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Really terrible. I hate it. You're way ahead of us, then.
Yeah.
I don't feel confident going anywhere.
Okay.
One's gonna throw a Molotov and they're gonna try to res.
But we hear that. I can hear that too.
There's another one down there.
Hit someone with the tear gas.
Check their bodies for night vision.
Oh, got it.
Suppression mine destroyed.
I think they're all dead in a minute.
Okay, I can see stuff.
Down. You are taking effective fire. Ultra
I'm
One,
backing up.
activity has increased.
I'm gonna flank.
Keep your eyes open.
Another one dead. Another one dead. Keep together, boys. Keep together. Firepower together.
Ultra One, you have a platoon of operators in your area. Keep your eyes open.
Check this con.
Night vision here.
Nods here.
I got it. I got it.
He's disappeared. This guy's disappeared. I think that might have been all of them. But just be careful. All right, so onto the actual controller settings themselves. So first thing I want to kind of touch up on is the actual layout of the controller. Now, just bear in mind, because you're going to see that I'm running default, and before you ask, I run a custom controller with paddles on the back. Okay, so I'm able to jump and slide, ping my markers, and also check my backpack while still maintaining full movement on the left stick and aim on the right stick. But if you want to at least be able to jump and slide at the same time, you are going to need to change your button layout, and I highly recommend trying to do at least one of these. All right, so you go onto your Warzone DMZ button layout, yeah? Go down and at least change it to tactical. What does this do when you change this to tactical? Basically, it makes it so melee is now circle, and that your change stance, slide, and dive is now the R3 stick, along with your aiming. I would highly advise at least changing it to tactical, because then you can at least dive out the way while maintaining full aim and control of your movement without having to take your right thumb off and click circle to dive, which can be a pain in the ass. You'll see me diving a lot in this game. You can dive to cover, keep diving constantly to try and avoid getting shot at by snipers, for example. It's a really handy thing, and it's not and it's definitely one of the most important things you can try and change over just having it onto default. Now, if you want to go a step further when it comes to, say, challenging gunfights and jumping around corners while shooting, you'll see me a lot jumping around corners to challenge gunfights, because it makes it harder for the person who's trying to shoot you to actually aim and lock onto you, especially getting headshots, right? So if you want to make it a step further, you can go to bumper jumper tactical. Basically, what this is going to do is make it so your L1 key is now your jump key, and the tactical is now put to X instead. This makes it so you can click the L1 to jump while still moving your left stick and aiming at the same time with your right stick. Really, really handy. So you can still kind of do things like jump shotting and crate shotting, diving, things like that, all while maintaining full movement and, you know, to your left and right analog sticks. Really, really handy. Bumper jump tactical is something I used back when I didn't have a custom controller, back when I was playing Destiny and Destiny 2. But at least try tactical, because the other thing with bumper jumper tactical, which is annoying, is if you're someone like myself who uses the spotter scope a lot, it can be a bit annoying to try and press X to use your spotter scope and then move around with the right stick. So there is some negatives to it. If you're a spotter scope guy, then this may not be the one for you, and you may want to go back to using just tactical. But these are some options you can try. Moving along, I always have the vibrations off so they don't really distract me when things are happening, shooting, getting shot at. I don't want anything shaking and all that kind of thing, so I have all this off. The thing I have changed recently is my sensitivity. This has been someone who is mainly a mouse and keyboard player, and I wanted to have this kind of feel where I could do a 180 really fast when I needed to in like those real pinch situations, especially when you're getting attacked by like 6-man teams coming at you at all random directions. It's so nice to be able to do a 180 pretty fast and kind of like lock on to someone behind me instead of kind of turning really slow. Now, this is a preference thing. I'm not going to say you have to go to 11. I'm not going to tell you have to go to any sensitivity. The sensitivity here is going to be very preference to you as a person and as a player, right? A lot of people actually like the lower sensitivities, which I recommended before, where you're playing anywhere from like 3 to 7, right? It's completely up to you, and this is a preference thing. But people who ask me what I'm running 1111. The thing I haven't really changed still is ADS sensitivity multiplier of 0.65. This basically makes it so when you actually lock on to people, it's so much more easier to track people at those longer ranges, and it's still very easy to track people at the close ranges, and just makes it just feels very more stickier, funny enough, when you like actually trying to track people, because you're not like overdoing it, if you know what I mean, when you're like over aiming. And so you kind of rely on the aim assist to kick in, and then you can just easily track them. I find 0.65 a really nice ADS sensitivity multiplier, but again, it's going to be a little bit preference. You can bump this up to 1 if you want. I see a lot of people play on 1. I just love it at a 0.65. It just has this really nice kind of slow down feeling, which just works really well with aim assist on this game. So that's how I like to have it. 0.65 at the ADS multiplier. Don't change the sensitivity multiplier at all. Haven't touched it. Haven't touched vertical aim axis. And then we go on to the next ones, which I have possibly changed. You do want to make sure that automatic sprint is off. This is something you'll see a lot of Warzone players say, to have it on automatic tac sprint. Now, I don't believe that's a good thing. I feel like off is better, because in DMZ, you want the full control of your aim and your movement. And having automatic tac sprint means that you can't actually hip fire effectively, right? There's going to be situations where you need to hip fire against like the AI or players right up close, especially if you like watching some of my videos where I'm using the shotgun, the hip fire build shotgun. I know you see a lot of people saying that they can't hip fire the shotgun. It's most probably because you got this set to automatic tac sprint. Have it set to off, and that'll be able to put you at that ease where you can actually hip fire and control full movement. So we have automatic sprint to off. Now, one thing you want to do is when it gets to interact/reload behavior, this is important. You want to make sure this is a favorite. Add this as a favorite, because you want this set to prioritize interact for most of the things DMZ related. It means that looting is just clicking once and not holding down, and then you can tap to reload if you're not near anything, but most of the time I just hold to reload, and it just makes things a lot easier. Now, the reason I ask you to change this as a like a favorite is if you're in a game and someone's pleading for help and you want to deny them the plea for help to loot them or stop them from being able to have a better view of where you are, to give information to their teammates where you are, you want to change this to tap back to reload, right? To be able to then hold down the interact key to actually stop them, from getting up. So you don't pick them up and you just hold it so it denies them. You have to have tap to reload to do that. You can't actually do it and prioritize interact. So you'll see a lot of times when I'm playing that I quickly like go over to my quick settings, change it to tap to reload, come back off into the game, do what I need to do, then quickly go back into quick settings and tap this back to interact. And that's why I have it there, because it's so much more faster to change it. So they're going over to your control settings like this, scrolling all the way down to change it. All right. So this is why I have this set as a favorite, because you want to always on interact, prioritize interact until you want to deny someone a plea. Then you want to go to tap to reload to do that. Armor plate behavior, I set to apply all. And then we now move on to the advanced. Now, target aim assist, I haven't changed this at all. I have it on, obviously. Aim assist type is default. I have tried Black Ops for a bit, but I think default is just slightly better when it comes to longer range engagement. So Black Ops is a little bit more stickier. I find it is a little bit more stickier, but actually in a bad way. And it doesn't seem to be as good for those longer range engagements when you're using things like sniper rifles. I was struggling a little bit more with my sniper rifle shots with Black Ops compared to default. Just something I was mucking around with. So default, I think, is still the best when it comes to aim assist type. This doesn't really matter because we don't use third person. Aim response curve is 100%. You need it on dynamic. It's the best option there. I've tried standard and it feels okay, but this just feels better. It feels like your aim assist is more stickier. It's a lot easier to like move and snap towards different targets. It's a little bit more reactive. And so it's just a better option. Honestly, you want to go with dynamic if you can. ADS sensor multiplier I've kept to 1. ADS and sensitivity transition time in instant. And I haven't got a custom sensitivity zoom. Inputs for your dead zones. Now, the main thing you want to do is change your left trigger and right trigger down all the way down to 0. And basically what this means is as soon as you press your L1 and your L2 and R2 or L1 and R1, as soon as you press it, it's going to give you that effect of whatever that button is, or ADS or shooting, for example. So the further you have this, the more you have to press in your button before it actually acknowledges what you're doing, right? So having this all the way to the left makes it pretty much an instant reaction, which is just going to help shoot faster, aim faster, for example. Yeah. The other things you want to look at is your left stick and right stick. Now, if you have stick drift, and everyone will have stick drift depending on like your age of your controller, dump this down all the way down to around 0.01 to 0.02 and see if there's any stick drift. See if your controller's aiming or moving slightly. And if it is, then raise either the left or right stick, depending on which one has the stick drift, by 1, and then see if it moves. If it doesn't, that's where you keep it. If it is still moving, move up again 1 more, and keep doing so until you get to the point where your stick isn't moving automatically, but it's at the lowest possible you can do. And again, it kind of applies to the same thing as the left trigger and the right trigger, as in you don't have to move the stick too much for it to start reacting. So as soon as I start moving my left stick or right stick, it reacts straight away. Again, being able to help you with snapping and, you know, strafing, you know, more responsive times. Yeah. So you want to make sure these are as low as possible without having stick drift. All right. Now, right stick, you can have this one set to 99, and then the left stick, because there's like, when it comes to the actual moving with the left stick, like running forward and back and left and right and strafing left and right, if you have this all the way up to the top, basically it takes a little more time for you to get to that full left strafe or full right strafe. If you bring this down to about 0.65, you don't have to push the left stick all the way to the side of the, you know, where it can go to get the full reaction. And so I have this to 0.65, and it makes it so your movement again feels just more reactive. Everything here is set to make it feel more reactive when you're pressing your buttons. All right. So that's why we have these set to where they are in the inputs dead zone. Moving on to get below, I haven't touched this. I removed everything off for gyro aiming. You could try and get used to this type of thing, but I think it's pretty gimmicky. And reports and my own testing of this when I was in a private match shows that it just removes aim assist. Like you lose aim assist because you add this. So you want all this off. All right. Movement behavior. Now, also moving forward, I have all off. Tactical sprint. I think this used to be on double tap. I have it on to single tap sprint. All right. Ground mantle, all this kind of stuff, I kind of just leave. I haven't really mucked around with it too much. The other thing you want to change is this one here, invert, slide, and dive behavior. You don't really want to slide too much, but you want to dive all the time. So you have it set to inverted, and what this does is if you want to actually slide, you have to hold down your slide key, right? If you just want to dive, you just tap it. And so it just makes it more reactive again, So when you want to dive, you just tap and you'll instantly dive. You don't have to hold down the actual slide key to dive. All right, so invert slide behavior, I have inverted. It's really handy to have that set to that. Plunging underwater, set this to plunge freely. Just makes it a lot easier to control your movement underwater while shooting. Auto deploy parachute off. Don't really use it too much in DMZ, apart from when you're jumping off buildings, but you want to control when you put this parachute on, not when the game chooses to. And sprinting door bash, I do like to have on. And this I haven't really changed. Now, moving on to this. Backpack alternative control is something I've changed from my previous. It took me a little while to get used to, but this is actually really handy. And basically, there's going to be times where you may want to equip something from your backpack, maybe switch weapons, maybe equip a new tactical or something along those lines, and you're going to be looking at your backpack or emptying things. And so having it like this, when you have it on, if you're moving forward, if you're running or going throughout the map and you're moving along, if you press your backpack, it'll automatically move, and then you can use your movement stick to actually navigate around the backpack, which is really handy because you don't have to take again your left finger off the movement stick to then go on to the directional D-pads to select things on your backpack. You can just keep on using your left analog stick to select things in your backpack, and you can do this while moving. It doesn't like an automatic moving while doing so. If you are moving, if you're just standing still, you won't move. And you can just kind of check your backpack and move around using the left stick. Really little handy feature. 100% would advise getting used to using this. Main exit delay you want on short. If you do weapon mounting, I advise not to do weapon mounting that much, just because you're encouraging easy headshots for yourself, especially with people who are running one-shot sniper rifles. I hate seeing people mount up, and I cringe when I see people mount up. And you may think, oh yeah, but maybe someone's not looking at me, but you may not know that. And maybe someone to your left you haven't seen now has an easy headshot on you. I 100% advise to never mount your weapon and just learn the recoil patterns of the gun. And I'm going to go over a little handy feature after these settings on how to master your recoil. All right. But if you do mount up, if you're really desperate and you need to mount up, I would have this on short. Depleted ammo weapon switch. Have this on just handy. If you are in the middle of a gunfight and you ran out of ammo, it automatically switches your gun, which can actually be really handy because it's going to do it straight away for you. Quick C4 detonation I have set to on, and it basically means that when you chuck a C4, you can press R1 and detonate it straight away before chucking the next one. You don't have to chuck two before detonating. Really handy feature. And anything else here I haven't changed. Okay, so this is the settings for you. Let's move on to how you can control your recoil. Okay, so we're gonna now head into the gun part, the gunsmith area, and just gonna show you how you can easily control your recoil, because I see a lot of people say, how do you control your recoil so well? Why is your gun looking like it's just beaming? Right, I'm just gonna show you how you can learn recoil patterns. So let's go straight into that now. Okay, so we're in the firing range here, yeah. And we've got ourselves the AK-545. Now, some people ask me how I'm making this beam so well without having any recoil. It feels like I'm not using any recoil, right? So when we're shooting here, you know, we're just controlling the recoil as much as we possibly can, right? Now, if you look at the actual recoil itself, if I shoot this into the door here and not control it, it heads slightly upwards and to the right from it, looks like, right? It's not the best example because we've got the other ones here. So if I shoot here, maybe shoots up into the right slightly, yeah, like so. Yeah, so it's just kind of going like this, slightly to the right. So how do you control this recoil? Yeah, the thing you do is once you've shot your recoil pattern so you can see it, you start from the top here, look at the top, and follow it downwards. Right, and just figure out what you're doing with your right thumbstick. So what I'm doing when I'm following this downwards is I am basically pointing slightly down and slightly to the left, right? So it's shooting up to the right. So I'm looking at the top here. and I'm pulling slightly down and slightly to the left, right? And the thing is, I'm not doing it a lot. I'm not like really, honestly, this game hasn't got that much recoil compared to some other games. I'm not really pulling down. I'm just slightly pulling down into my left. And how this will look if I'm controlling it, again, we're going to be pulling slightly down and to the left. And there we have it. Nice, tight bullet spread compared to this. And all I'm doing is pulling down slightly to the left. You can see I'm bouncing about still a little bit. But you can kind of pretty much keep it where you want to go just by doing that little pattern, which is following it down. So all you want to be doing is coming into the gunsmith or gun firing range, shoot your gun a few, figure out what it's doing. Is it going up to the left? Is it going up to the right? And doing the opposite by following it downwards, and then just practicing by shooting into the door with that little pattern. Like you see there, I overdone it. I actually overshot down that time. So you want to make sure you don't overdo it, and you can see that you can easily overdo it. It's not like a super cooldown. It's just a little bit, right? And if you do it enough, start shooting at targets, you know. Aim assist is going to help you too if you're moving and strafing at the same time, you know. And there you go, right? Makes your gun nice and beamable even at the further ranges, right? So that's how you control your recoil. For people who don't maybe understand maybe how you control your recoil. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is abusing aim assist. Now, I do go into detail on my previous video on this, and I'll leave the information on that in the pinned comment, talking through aim procedures about where you should be pointing your crosshair, talking about crosshair height, crosshair placement, things like so. I'm not going to go over that again and repeat that. So all I'll do is I'm going to leave that information in the pinned comment down below, and you can rewatch that video. Just skip to the end to where I'm like in the private map section basically, and now I go over some details on how you can improve your aim and improve your gunfights. But I'm going to be talking again about the aim assist and why aim assist is so important to abuse in this game, because it's so friggin' strong. And the way to abuse aim assist is kicking in rotational aim assist. Now, rotational aim assist will only kick in when you're moving, which is actually a really good practice, because you should be moving when you're fighting. You should always be strafing and moving left and right in like weird, peculiar ways. Don't always go full left or full right. You want to kind of like move left and then right maybe, and a bit more right and a bit more left. And, you know, just doing some weird kind of like strafing to really put off your opponent when you're in a gunfight. But what this also does is increase the aim assist you have on your controller just by doing this, right? Just by moving left and right. Now, if you combine this with also moving a little bit of your right stick, so you'll see when I aim, a lot of the times I call it jittering. I call it like a jitter, and I kind of like, you can see my left stick is now, I'm just moving it left. I'm like spamming it left and right, right? This is me not spamming it. This is me spamming it left and right. And what this does is it just helps with aim assist, right? I'm jittering a bit. If I'm in a full gunfight near someone, I'll mostly strafe more to kind of, you know, stop them from being able to shoot me. But if I'm not getting directly shot at and I want really I normally jitter a bit. I kind of just jitter left and right when I'm shooting to help kick in that aim assist, on top of using my my stick, my right hand stick. So what I'm trying to do is just make sure I'm moving my right stick a little bit to the left or right to sight and track him. So I'll either aim a little bit to, you know, past them or something, so I can use my right stick to just slightly make sure I'm on point. And when you move both the right stick and the left stick together in tandem, you get the full aim assist, which is the rotational aim assist. It's going to give you the most accuracy you can get for your guns. It's going to make it feel nice and sticky, and you're going to win a lot more gunfights because doing so. This is why there's a lot of PC players who just absolutely, you know, mouse and keyboard players that hate aim assist, because it wins gunfights for you. 100% wins gunfights for you if you know how to abuse it. If you're just standing still like this and trying to aim, you know, you're going to have a harder time shooting your target. It even actually felt like that. But you can even see when I was trying to shoot him, like it wasn't like sticking as much. But then as soon as I actually moved, it kind of feels like the bullets hit more, like the hit detection's better. Like it just feels like they're kind of sticking towards the enemy, yeah, because I'm moving all the time, yeah. So get into that habit, you know, jitter it, like your little jitter movements, or you know, strafing left and right when you're in a gunfight. It's just going to help you win those gunfights more, right? And you can kind of like, you know, crouch and prone and, you know, jump around the corners, you know, at the same time while doing so. Things you can do to really help improve your aim while or improve the outcome of winning a gunfight while doing so, yeah. All these little things are practice. You can practice these a lot in the firing range, which I'm doing, and I will leave the other video I had of this on, like crosshair placement and again abusing aim assist, and I'll leave that at the pinned comment for you, just so it can help you even more. But I hope this helps, guys. I wanted to cover this again, like a redo of my controller settings for people, updated for anyone who was asking. This is my updated controller settings with a few little things I've changed, and ready for season 4. Okay, so that is it. I hope that you enjoy, and I'll see you soon for some more DMZ. Thank you so much, guys.